have an opportunity to tune in to a younger vibration. We have with us the young sages who will offer some of their pieces that they have created themselves, and we have the opportunity to witness them. All right, let's do it. Woo! First up, we have Will. Welcome, Will.
You guys are probably about to see a lot of people presenting off their phones, which is different than the rest of the conference. Yeah, so my name's Will Drescher. I identify as a survivor of the opioid crisis. I'm 24 years old, and I also identify as someone who has dealt with what our society agrees to call mental illness. I don't like that name, but it is what it is. And I'm going to be reading a letter that I wrote to my 17-year-old self. And some of this is a lot, so if at any point you feel you need to take a deep breath, please do. So, here we go. All right, buddy. Hey, man, you're in the back of a cop car right now. You'll be in 5-point restraint soon. You're probably not thinking out 10 minutes anyway. Good for you. I won't ever forget that powerlessness. I won't ever forget how much we hurt. I'll learn, though. I'll learn that love knows what it's like to be alone, to be a fuck-up, to not want to be dead or alive. Lucky for us, I'll learn the humility to accept that the world knows my struggle, and even if it didn't, we would still be okay. I want you to know, Will, life keeps getting better for us. Things just keep working out. I know you've been desperate for something to give, and trust me, it will. After you're out of this commitment, the 5th, you'll sober up. Your mind will eventually come back to you. You'll find enough going on in the picture that you want to keep looking at it and keep shaking up here. You'll see some new places you never thought you'd go, and you'll meet some strong people along the way. You'll be able to take in their energy like a sponge. Each day, that pit in our gut will fill a bit. We'll even learn that we're supposed to avoid gluten and dairy. You'll learn to show up for people with a level of altruism and authenticity you don't feel safe sharing right now. And it'll be better than any drink or drug you ever took. It'll take us a while to figure things out after college, or everything else that goes with it. We'll still fuck up, but it'll be okay this time. Oh my God, I say that word a lot in this. We'll get into trouble. We'll probably make mom cry a few more times, but we're done keeping her up at night. We'll get heartbroken a few times. Our house will burn down. People will leave. People will come. Turns out that's the shit we stay alive for. The pain, the growth. Who knew? We'll take our mistakes seriously, but we'll learn to let some of them go. We'll learn that love is what we believe in, and it's in the journey. And we believe in letting go. You even ended up going to Italy, and you chanted Naked Under the Stars. You would have thought that was pretty corny, but we had a good time. You bought a dirt bike that's as old as you are, and you raised a mutt. Who rescued who? We listen and we learn. We don't need a cut or a bruise or a broken bone for each lesson, although we've had our fair share of beats. Today, you work where you went to treatment. We're grateful to be there. When we're outside, we sweat, we sacrifice. It's kind of cool. We try to be of service to others. You've got a connection in your life when you decide to see it. You've got a lifelong friend down the hall and other people at our fingertips. I know you might not believe when I say that one day we'll wake up and be ready to live the next, but it's true. Thank you.
I'd like to take a moment and I'd invite us all to close our eyes and see if we can sink into our listening and hear not just the words spoken in this poem, but the feelings in which they were written to experience in. Lies are just truths in disguise. They are informing us of the meaning the truth symbolize. The rim of light around a dark abyss, polarity's long-awaited kiss. The marriage of the division, the ceasing of the separation in my vision. Why must we wait till death to rest in peace? Why must that clarity be experienced only by the deceased? To be heard without speaking is my deepest wish, for these words to fade into the silence in which their true essence awaits. Because there is no resistance in the act of existence. Only within perception lies that deception. Maybe I'm just blind to the harmony around me. Maybe what's out of tune is not the system, but my eyes. Let's look for the similarities, all of our cosmic ties. Not similarity at the expense of each other, but rather from these polarities that inform one another. If you're only in the light because of the fear of the night, are you living in salvation or in an escape from damnation? How would you know the world others are seeing? How do you know anything other than believing? This is the sanity sleeping in sanity. A revolution without a solution is just another confusion. I'm too close to the illusion to see through the haze. I remember the clarity of the selfless days. Now I'm finding the saints in prisons and the sinners in church, finding nothing but paradox in my holy search. And the final call of my divinity is telling me that heads and tails are just two faces of one, and everything has one thing that fills the emptiness it reveals. Like the night veiling the day when the moon crosses the sun, the temporary darkness in which light must become, to show us the shadows from where it comes from. The magnetic void in avoiding, the child that's a parent in a parent, and the veil of duality that is so transparent. The missing piece in peace, the space created in the act of release. The love whose location can't be placed, but its presence can be embraced. The undiscerning hugging arms of experience, the unexpected freedom in obedience, and the metamorphosis of resilience. Can you hear the presence of the silence? Thank you.
Hey guys, my name's Adam. I'd also invite you guys to close your eyes when I'm going to share a poem. And to rest, if you can, in your heart space, knowing that the nature of your heart is indeed the nature of reality and the nature of all experience. And this is a poem about that heart and its nature. And it's an adaptation of a poem written by a British nun. It's called Stillness Nailed. At the heart of all experience, its essential nature shines as stillness nailed to the cross, holding in its heart all time and impermanence, all change and all circumstances, good or bad, beautiful or ugly. In and to love's embrace, healing and releasing all from the human grip on duality. Both gracefully and painfully, it allows in perfect surrender, self-emptying love to flow eternally.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jaysha, and I'm going to share a song with you today that I believe really describes the journey that I've taken with my sages this year. You walked with me, footprints in the sand, and helped me understand where I'm going. You walked with me when I was all alone, with so much unknown along the way. Then I heard you say, I promise you, I'm always there. When your heart is filled with sorrow and despair, and I'll carry you when you need a friend. You'll find my footprints in the sand. I see my life flash across the sky. So many times have I been so afraid. And just when I thought I lost my way, you give me strength to carry on. That's when I heard you say, I promise you, I'm always there. When your heart is filled with sorrow and despair, and I'll carry you when you need a friend. You'll find my footprints in the sand. Thank you.
Wow. Can we just hold space for that for one more moment? My name is Ephemeral Bunny Rushdie, and I'm a freestyle spoken word artist. And I'm going to tell you a story about a homeless man I met in Berlin who I truly believe is a prophet. I think on the first time I ever really opened up deep generational trauma, I decided I just need to leave my house in the middle of the night. I packed a bag. I put tarot cards, a Polaroid camera, change of clothes, juggling balls. I didn't know what my ancestors needed, but they needed something, okay? And I'm smoking some special cigarettes, legitimately cigarettes my friend bought from Brazil for me. And if you wonder why the youth still smokes, it's because we've internalized the messaging of our elders that the burning of the world is our sole responsibility. So I'm smoking these cigarettes, I'm walking down the street, I'm just trembling, I don't know what's going on. And this guy comes up to me, and he seems to only speak German, but he clearly wants a smoke. And you know, it doesn't matter how special the smoke is. You got a smoke, you give a guy a smoke. So you give him the smoke. And he smokes it, and he goes, obrigado. And I don't speak Portuguese, but I try to learn how to say thank you in all of my friends' tongues, and I recognize the gesture. He recognizes this smoke is from Brazil, and he knew how to respond to that better than I did. And we become smoking buddies. Every time I'm walking down the street, I see him, he sees me, he gives me a smoke, I give him a smoke. We become fast friends. Issue is, this dude does not speak English. I see him talk to people in Italian, I see him talk to people in French, in German, in Portuguese, but he never speaks English. 2 months later, the first time I ever hear him speak English fluently, we're sitting down having a beer, and he turns to me and he goes, do you read the news? I'm just shocked. I'm like, I'm a political science major. I try to. I mean, damn. And he goes, you know, it's kind of hard for me, given all the context and all, to stay up to date on information. But I collect newspapers. I use them as blankets, and I try and stay involved. I try and know what's going on. I think we all have this responsibility to like know what's happening in the world. Don't you agree? And I'm still trying to comprehend this man I've smoked with for 2 months speaks English, and I'm just nodding like, yes, I agree. You're right. And he goes, but there's something more important than reading the news. Don't you know what that is? And I'm like, no. He's, well, love. Obviously, it's love. When you fall in love, you have a responsibility to be free of the world, to fall into that, to feel that, to just carry that emotion. But you have to come back. You have a responsibility to go, and you have a responsibility to feel that. But then you have to come back to reading the news and come back to the world, and you have to know that you have to carry what you've learned and loved back to the news. And this is what I want to share with you, this lesson I learned from a homeless man who people labeled as schizophrenic. This weekend has been beautiful. It has been incredible to live in love with you for 4 days. But after this, we have to go back to the world. And we have to go back to reading the news. And we have to take whatever generational trauma we might still be working through and meet it with love. So thank you.
Hello. My name is Jaleesa Adonai Ferchenny, and I want to share with y'all a poem that I wrote. I wrote this in embracing the complexity of love and feeling a lack of nourishment in receiving love from my father. And that journey unfolded, and it's brought me here. And there's a lot of rage in this poem. And I used to make a disclaimer about it, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm stagnant in phases, loose lips and no praises, emptied in gaps from a hiatus. And I'm not really sure how to say this, but I've been empty for ages, trying to develop through new stages. But all that I have is an empty bag and a broken back. I've been crippled for far too long, and I miss my dad. I sit on this bed to watch you rest. I remember when I could do the same, but now I feel so restless. My mind keeps jumping around like a monkey. Past, future, never present. Past, future, never present. I lose myself to this dream. My perception isn't as it really seems. I see myself as I see the world. I am the world is me. I see my stories and my reality as I dream myself, as I beat myself, battered and bruised. I don't have much to lose except for you. Me. You are really me, not separate from me, but me, myself. I haunt myself. I hurt myself with your memory. But please, remember me. Karma is a bitch. But she knew that I would end up like this. She knew that the absence of my father would trickle down to my love life, and that I would fall for my ex like love at first sight. She knew that I would fall battered and bruised, like I had nothing to lose, only to trip back up and find myself embracing you. A man without many rules, invaded by the sun and birthed by the moon. I feel elated to be next to you, yet contemplating because of the things that you do. I didn't lie when I said my mind is sublime. I feel elevated. You might want to catch a flight. Fight or flight, fight from a distance. Your love creates resistance. I guess my pharaoh, wrapped up in this apparel, was too much for you. Stomping down the yard, red lipstick in my Riker boots. Don't let me settle for no average dude. You see, I had a void, and that void wasn't for you to fill, but for the absence of man and for the silence of thought. So transition, please, said the voice of God. I should have listened when she warned me, but I must have forgot. And now my river's drying up, and I can no longer feed you. I learned to love you before my very own reflection, no exceptions. Now I'm begging for repentance, because you seem unaware that God placed divinity in me. That man is only man because he shared parts of me. And I'm a child of God because I was sculpted by his hand. The apple never falls far from the tree, and this is where I land. Entangled by love, lust, and passion. When you were born, the water from my universe dripped and kissed your lip. Then we created life for you. Dancing cosmically, we planted the seeds for you. Even your mother couldn't do it like I do. Narcissistic in my tendencies, but I'd rather be infatuated by me than to be wrapped up in your lucid dreams. You're always asleep, sleeping on me, such a beautiful queen. I stimulate your third eye like your tongue on my clitoris. You walking around with a chip on your shoulder, but you never get rid of this. Not me, not I. See, I was a ride or die. In my essence, I hold galaxies in my eyes. I'm inspired by a Nubian queen. Dark, black on the scene, barefoot and bruised. I bear life in my wombs. I am the creator of you, which is such an impossible task, like creating a gun and not knowing where it will land. We are the mothers of our sons, and they are the fathers of this land. Therefore, I am infinite, like the beginning of the future, and the future will never end. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, here, you take that, and then I'll take this for my words. Because millennials can't remember words, except for Jaleesa. How y'all feeling right now? Huh? Okay, I just want to make sure we're still awake. I want to share a poem with you all called Less of a Man. I'm going to talk about being a man. Ugh. Masculinity. Am I less of a man without a woman by my side? Am I less of a man because I like to lie with guys? Lying to myself, hiding behind this disguise, terrified once you realize I've been realigned, I'll be penalized, no pun intended. Am I less of a man for feeling these emotions? Am I less of a man for going through the motions, gasping for air as I drown in the ocean, post-crashing my boat with no raft I can float in? I'm only ever less than if that's what I believe. I'm only ever less than if that's what I believe. I'm more of a man when I stand and speak my piece. Take a seat and breathe so my spirit can release, transcend the expectation of what it means to be me. Believe in the power we have deep within. When life seems grim, it feels like sink or swim. If we let the light be dimmed, that means the demons win. We're so much more than skin,
So please be as free as the wind. Thank you.